Here I'm going to be grouting the tile, and these grout lines are about 1/8 of an inch, and the rule is that you use unsanded grout for grout lines 1/8 or smaller, and you use sanded grout for grout lines that are 1/8 or larger. So the 1/8 inch grout line you could use either sanded or unsanded. Personally, I prefer to use a sanded in any grout line that's 1/8 of an inch or larger. I only use the unsanded grout for very narrow grout lines, 1/16 of an inch or so. And I do this because the sanded grout fills the grout line more evenly than an unsanded grout, and when you wash it off, it just leaves with a more uniform grout line usually. So that's my preference. I usually use sanded grout for any grout line that's 1/8 of an inch or larger. And the way you grout usually is now this is just for cementitious grout. Epoxy grouts and other types of grouts, it's slightly different, but for a regular cementitious grout, you just smear it on, cover all the joints with a rubber float. You go over the joints multiple times to make sure that the grout line is completely full, and then once it sets up a little bit, sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but usually if you're doing a shower, you can do a section of the shower, and by the time you finish that section, the part where you started, it's pretty much ready to be cleaned off. So anyway, so you just push the grout into the grout lines with the rubber float, passing the float over the tile at a very low angle, and then you take off the excess when you pass the float over the tile again on a high angle. And I have another video that explains the whole process, and it's pretty much the same for walls and floors. So you can check those out if you want. I'll leave a link in the description below. And then once the tile is grouted, then it's time to caulk. Now you can either caulk before or after you grout. If you caulk before you grout, then obviously the caulk needs to dry before you can put the grout. So I usually will just grout the tile, and then when I'm done with all the grouting and I'm all cleaned up, I will then go ahead and caulk the corners and any place where tile meets a dissimilar material. So that's basically this video. It's just really just fast forward, and there's more details in another video which explains the whole process of how to grout. And like I said, I'll leave a link in at the bottom in the description. So here I'm using a latex, siliconized latex caulk, which is the color matching caulk, the same as the grout. So when everything is dry, everything will be the same color. Usually grout is darker when it's wet and it dries to be lighter. Caulk is the opposite. It's lighter when it's wet and then dries to be darker. So when you're using a color matching caulk, generally the match until after the everything is dry. So it's important to caulk everything that needs to be caulked.